Welcome into this edition of DME Meets. My name is James Phillips, the publisher here at the Daily Mountain Eagle, and today I'm joined by Jenny Odom. She is the Executive Director of the Pregnancy Test and Resource Center here in Jasper. Jenny, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go just straight into how did you get to the Pregnancy Test Center? You said you've been there about 10 years now?
Yeah, I have. I've been there about 10 years. Started as a volunteer initially, right out of college. Didn't really know what I was doing. I had never heard of pregnancy centers. There's thousands all over, the United States, but I had never heard of them, much less I didn't know there was one in Jasper. And I had a friend of my mom who volunteered and, was just looking for a job and couldn't find one. My major was psychology, and everybody said, you're going to have trouble finding a job. And of course, that's what I wanted to do. So I went into it and started volunteering at the center and really loved it. Like, I thought, this is perfect. This is what I want to do with my career, but just never knew that they existed. And so volunteered for probably about 3 months, and there was a job opening. Didn't really know what I was getting into. I think I would have felt like I had no business being there because I had no experience. It was my first job, out of college, and didn't know what I was applying for, but I thought, okay, well, if the Lord wants me here, this is where I'm going to be, and applied and went through the interview process for a few months and got the job. And I could not have picked a better job for myself. It was one of those things, like I said, the Lord knew what I needed much better than what I knew I needed for myself. And I've just loved every minute of it. I couldn't think of anywhere else that I would have rather been for the past 10 years or, where I would be now. So I love it.
Well, you mentioned how you didn't really know about the Pregnancy Center, so there's probably a lot of people out there now that still don't know about the Pregnancy Center. What are some of the things that you guys do?
We, of course, offer pregnancy testing, and now we offer ultrasound. We started offering that about 5 years ago, and all of our services are free. So that's one thing. We get a lot of calls sometimes, and people say, well, how much does it cost? Do I need to bring my insurance card? No. We are a nonprofit. We're a ministry. We have donors that support us that are churches, businesses, individuals. Everything we offer is free, and it's not just for people in Walker County. I think when it comes to an unplanned pregnancy, people are very nervous. They want a place that's confidential, and so they'll come sometimes from Fayette, Coleman, Birmingham, all over just to get out of town, to have somebody that maybe doesn't know their family or friends that they can talk to and feel like it's a safe place. So we offer pregnancy testing and ultrasound, but we also offer a clothes closet that goes from newborn up to 2T, also offers maternity clothes. We have a program for both moms and dads to complete parenting classes while they're expecting, to get prepared with parenting skills, but also with the baby items that they need. That's one of the biggest things we hear, is that financially they're unprepared for a child. And so this helps them to get those basic baby items, but also feel equipped to be the best parent possible before their baby's even born. This year, one of our focuses has been ministering better to fathers that come in, and so we've started a new support group for dads. So we offer a whole lot of resources. Our goal is to minister to the moms and the dads from the time they think they may be pregnant up until they have the baby and the child is 2 years old. So they can come in for clothes closet even after they have the child. If they've never been into us for a pregnancy test, they can still come in for clothes closet. So it's not one of those things you have to start out as a pregnancy test client and then you can use our services. At any point during that time, they can call us and we can see what we have to offer them.
A lot of people will be seeing this and think, I'd like to help at the Pregnancy Center. What are some things that people can do? I know you're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah. We have 4 staff members, and the rest of our staff are volunteers. So we have people that come in, they serve once a week a certain time. We've got nurses, we have retired teachers, we have people that are trained to do our parenting classes. Our father support group is a group of dads that they have small children and they're coming in and leading this group of dads to kind of learn how to be a parent and to feel like they're not alone. So we have over 40 volunteers serving in different capacities, whether it's in the center, ministering directly to clients, or on our junior board, our fundraising committee, our board of directors. We couldn't open without volunteers. But people can also give financially, or they can give baby items. So we operate with donations from churches, individuals, businesses. We don't get any federal funding, so it's all supporters, private donations. And we also have churches and individuals that give us used baby clothing. Sometimes they'll do baby item drives for specific items that we're in need of, or they'll do what we call the baby bottle boomerang, which is just sending out baby bottles to the church or the organization, and they fill it with loose change, and it adds up. So that's a super easy way to give and not feel like you're having to come out of pocket a whole lot of money. But those are all wonderful ways to support, and they're easy, and I feel like everybody knows somebody that has experienced an unplanned pregnancy, and so this is going to someone that you probably know in the community that has a need. So it's a great place to support and give and know what you're giving to and how it's affecting them in the long run.
Well, and you mentioned support and give. You guys do a lot of fundraisers throughout the years. What are some of the things that you guys do besides just people cutting a check?
We have an annual fundraising banquet. We do that in the spring, and then in the fall we have a golf classic at Mushgrove. So we'll start announcing that pretty soon once we get that date pinned down. We do the baby bottle boomerang typically in January, and then between Mother's Day and Father's Day. And then we have smaller fundraisers throughout the year. We're currently about to do a t-shirt sale. We have a new one that our junior board has came up with, so we'll be posting that on social media. And then we just do a year-end campaign, people to give their year-end given to us. They can give it towards specific items like a car seat or a pack and play, or they can just give it just for our general fund. But the golf classic and the banquet are our biggest fundraisers, and we've done those for several years now. So.
Well, y'all do a Mother's Day brunch, isn't it?
We do a Mother's Day brunch. I forgot about that. That was the one we just had, and so that has became an annual event, and that's a lot of fun because you have moms that come and they know they're supporting other local moms. So you may not, everything we do is so confidential, we can't tell specifics about situations, and of course can't tell names, but you know that you are supporting another local mom that may be struggling financially, or they may just be in a hard spot when it comes to family situations or relationship situations. And for those moms to know, well, these moms came together to support me and they don't even know about me, that goes a long way. Just for us to tell them you are loved and you are cared about. You may not know these ladies, but they care enough about you to support you. So that's a great fundraiser. I think this was our third year having that.
Right. Well, and one year you did a Cornhole Tournament, right?
We did.
Did that turn into an annual thing, or is that just once?
We had it for 2 or 3 years. It was very hot when we did that.
I was in it, and it was hot.
It was very hot.
And you had some people who took it really seriously.
They did.
I thought this would be like going in my backyard and just tossing.
No.
And that wasn't the case. There were people with jerseys.
Yes, we had the Alabama Cornhole Association. The guy that's over that came and put that on for us, and so I did not realize there are professional cornhole players.
Right, I didn't either.
Yes, and so they take it very seriously. That was a lot of fun. We may do that again in the future. The time of year we did it was a little toasty outside, so we kind of tabled that for now. But yeah, doing it probably in the fall would be a little bit better, but that was a lot of fun. But yeah, they do take it very seriously. Very seriously.
Well, and we mentioned giving. We probably need to make sure that people know exactly where you're located. Okay. So if you want to give the address and what you're close to, maybe a landmark, and then phone number too, that'd be good.
Our address is 1707 2nd Avenue. We are downtown in between the fire department and Synovus. So if you've been in Jasper for years, you know where the old Chamber of Commerce building is, right by Synovus, used to be First Bank. We're in that building. We're open Monday and Tuesday 9 to 4, Wednesday 8 to 2, and then Thursday 9 to 5. People can come, they can give online, they can come by there and give. We love to give tours to people, so if they've never been in, it helps so much to see what exactly we do and how we do it. So we set up tours after hours when we don't have clients there, so they can stop by or call us, and we'll be glad to set that up. And
that might be good for like a church group or Sunday school group or something like that.
Yeah. We have a youth group that's going to be coming pretty soon, just because they help us with, like once a month they'll help us stuff our newsletters and stuff like that. And so they're coming in to take a tour to see actually how they are giving back. Because, you know, we can list all the services that we give, but until you actually see the clothes closet and you see how we operate, it just makes a big difference. So yeah, we love to have people come and take a tour and look around.
Now, you've been doing it for 10 years now. You've been there for 10 years. How many tears have you shed over that time?
A lot. Tears of joy and tears of, there's just some very hard situations. You know, we have moms and dads that come in sometimes and their situation is just fine. You know, they're just coming in for the test, the ultrasound, and I think our parenting program, you earn so much by going through that we have people from all walks of life that come in to do that, and that's wonderful. But you do have some very hard situations. You know, we've seen drug addiction, we've seen moms that were homeless, we've seen domestic violence situations. But what we do in that pregnancy test visit is talk about all that. You know, we're not just there to say, here's you some stuff, here's you some classes. We really want to talk to that mom and that dad and say, what is your situation? What do you need help with? What is your biggest worry and your biggest concern? And what can we help you with? And if we can't help, Walker County is very blessed, I think, to have some wonderful organizations that can help in a lot of ways. But until you're in that situation and you need those things, you don't know that they exist, like us. A lot of people don't know that we exist until they find themselves or a friend, family member with an unplanned pregnancy, and someone tells them about us. Well, when they come into us, we can tell them about all these other resources. Sometimes it's just food and clothing they need. Sometimes they need help finding a job. Sometimes, like I said, it is a mom that's in a domestic violence situation and she has never told anybody about it and doesn't know who to call or where she's going to sleep that night. So every situation is very different, but I think that's our goal, is to sit down and we don't just go through a checklist of telling people what we want them to know. We sit down and dive into that with them, and we're there to hold their hand through that pregnancy and even after, if they'll let us, because we want them to better their situation and we want them to feel confident and to have a safe place to come and talk about all that.
Well, and I know we have a problem here in the county with like prenatal care. A lot of times that people don't get the care that they need to.
Yes.
Is that something that you guys help with also?
We do. What we do at that pregnancy test visit is we'll do the initial pregnancy test, provide them with the verification they need to get signed up on Medicaid. We'll give them referrals to local doctors, help them decide where they want to go. We'll offer that initial ultrasound a lot of times to estimate gestational age, make sure that it's a viable pregnancy, and walk them through the steps of this. These are your next steps. You need to apply for Medicaid, you need to contact Steps Ahead, you need to get into a doctor, and this is why it's important. Because, you know, with an unplanned pregnancy, the pregnancy is, that's why they're coming to us, but there's so many other factors. They're overwhelmed with so many more things on top of that. So it's a lot to remember. It's a lot to take that first step when you're in shock that you're pregnant. So you just really don't know who to tell, where to turn. So we want to walk them through that process, get them connected to a doctor as soon as they can. That's our ultimate goal. So the earlier they get into us, hopefully the earlier they'll get into a doctor, because that is a problem, you know. And also sometimes with Medicaid, it takes a while for them to get approved and get connected. So they don't realize that the process can be a little lengthy. So the longer you wait, the longer it's going to be before you get into a doctor. So we try to talk to them about that and tell them where to pick up when they leave us, check in with them each time they come, because we want that to be clear and for them to be encouraged when they come in to do that.
Well, and you guys, like you said, you don't just say, here's a bunch of stuff and here's some classes. Y'all build relationships with the people who come in.
We do. You know, a lot of moms that come in, they have support. A lot of them don't. You know, sometimes it's parents, of course, that are mad that it's an unplanned pregnancy. Sometimes the boyfriend's mad and he's not supportive. Sometimes they have just been, their life in general has just been very hard up until that point. And so they feel like they don't have anyone to talk to. They feel hopeless. So for us, it's let's help you figure out your next steps, but also what are your goals? What are your long-term goals? What do you need to get there? But how are you feeling? Like we want to support them and encourage them to be the parent they want to be, but also you can do these other things, whether it's to get your GED or to find a job or whatever your goals are. We want to be there to encourage them and build relationships with them that are healthy relationships, that they know they can come into us and talk about whatever it is that's stressing them out. And that's probably, that's one of the best things about the job is you get to know them and you show them that you love them and you care about them. And for a stranger to do that for them, but to then be able to say, we're supported by these people in the community because they also care about you. Many times these moms and dads, they've never had that. You know, they feel like their life is worthless, and to show them that they are worthy and they have, a hope and a future, that's why we're there. So yeah, we want to build a relationship with them, see what they need and what we can help them with, but let them know they're valuable, regardless of what their past has been up until that point.
Well, and I know it's rewarding to do what you do, and I know you see bad things, but are there any specifics, without being too specific, in a story of something that's been really rewarding as far as who you've worked with, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we have, I think sometimes you have clients that come in and you'll see them once or twice and you don't see them again because they don't need your services anymore. Sometimes you see clients for several years, and to see those clients where they have came from and maybe their feelings about themselves, that they have these goals for themselves but they don't think that they can get there, and then to see 3 or 4 years down the road how they've bettered their situation and came out of what they were in and maybe what they were taught growing up about themselves, that is rewarding. And it takes time, to see that sometimes. Sometimes it's fairly quick. But even just seeing those that come in and they don't have a job and they're struggling with that, and then they find a job, and it's like, that's rewarding too, because you've helped them get to that point. But getting to see their babies grow up and they're older, and sometimes we'll have moms, they come in and they came in for their pregnancy with their first baby, and they'll go through the parenting program 2 or 3 times, and you get to see their babies grow up and how the moms have changed and their situations have changed. That's rewarding to see too. So yeah, seeing them grow up and how they progress over time, that's very rewarding.
Right. Boomerang bottles. What is that?
That is basically, you take a baby bottle and you fill it up with change.
Oh, okay.
So like we'll have churches that in January or from Mother's Day to Father's Day, they'll get like Arley First Baptist got 200 bottles, and they pass them out to the congregation. They have a date they start and then a date they turn back in, and then they collect them. And since we have started doing it, we've raised over $20,000 with change.
Wow.
And
that's
that, really... you just get it off of your nightstand and fill up a bottle, and you don't realize how, the average bottle probably has $20, $25 in it, and that's 3-4 packs of diapers. That goes a lot. We can stretch it very far.
Right.
So you don't realize how much, and you may think I can't give monthly, or I can't give for this campaign or that, but most people have spare change, and it adds up really quickly. We have been stocked up by churches. We have great supporters that if we send out an email or put it on Facebook and say, hey, we need diapers, we need lotion wash, they go and buy it.
They just take care of it.
And sometimes we'll have people that they find a great deal on something, and so we may not need 50 bottles of lotion right now, but we will use it eventually.
Right.
And so we have some great donors that keep us in mind when it comes to stuff like that. So We don't. I wish we got a discounted rate on stuff.
Well, that's why, like a lot of the food closets or whatever, they can buy
Yeah.
food at a percentage from wherever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all could do that too.
Most of the time, the things we end up having to actually spend money on is like car seats and pack and plays and stuff like that. Because diapers, we stay pretty stocked up on, because too, we'll have parents that, their kids grow out of diapers, and if it's been an open pack, that's fine. We
Right.
repackage it anyway. We get formula samples a lot of times, baby food that kids end up not eating. So a lot of it is just hand-me-down stuff that people didn't use from their baby showers and stuff.
Right.
So like our medical kits and diaper bags, some of the bigger stuff is what we end up having to buy. But
Well, like with car seats, that's more expensive, and plus
Right.
they go out of date too.
they do. So we can't take used ones. We can't take used car seats or cribs. Bottles, breast pumps, pacifiers, those are the main things. But too, we'll have churches, or even we've had families sometimes that they'll say, how much does it cost to kind of sponsor one of your graduates from the parenting program? And that is about $150. And that covers the cost of that. So sometimes they'll donate that amount, or they'll just take a list and they'll go and buy most of the items on the list of what we give them. And we'll have churches that will do baby showers to sponsor people too. So
Right.
that takes up a lot of the slack of things we need. And we do get the Choose Life car tags. We get that grant money. That can go towards direct client needs too.
Okay.
So those things together does a pretty good job of getting most of the stuff we end up needing.
Yeah.
This past year was our busiest year, so we ran out of grant money a little bit quicker, but we had some awesome donors that stepped up and said, what do you need?
How many
Let's-
clients do you typically have in a year?
Clients, we have probably about 250, and then...
And that's just mothers? Or-
That is both.
Okay.
Now, from January to now, we've had more dads participate in classes and come back and be a part of a visit probably than we've ever had, because we've made that point to have our father volunteers now that can talk to them, see what their needs are as well. So we have had more dads, but overall, last year I think we had about 750 visits total. So, we may have one client that comes in for pregnancy test and an ultrasound, and then they're usually coming in, I'd say at least 7, 8, 9 times if they want to graduate from the program to do their classes. So we'll see them multiple times, but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
We want to develop that relationship and really see what their needs are. So last year was our busiest year by far, and it's picking back up this year too. So we probably will beat those numbers from last year.
Well, Jenny, thanks for coming in and just
Thank you.
giving us a little more information so people know more about you guys. Be sure to give your website and your phone number and that sort of thing again before we go, just so people can know how to get in contact with you.
Okay. Our website is ptrcjasper.org. Our phone number is 221-5860. We're also on Facebook. It's Pregnancy Test and Resource Center, and we're on Instagram and Twitter, and that's at PTRCJasper.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming by
Thank
again.
you.
And thank you guys for tuning in as always. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Be sure to go at the bottom of this screen and hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time for DME Meets.
Hey, this is James again. We just wanted to let you know that we're supported by High Point Furniture in Jasper. You may have seen our nice chairs that we have, and also our new table that we've got during some of our interview segments. Be sure to go see Reggie. Tell him thanks for supporting the Daily Mountain Eagle, and go buy some furniture at High Point Furniture. It's located right next to Winn-Dixie, between Winn-Dixie and Mr. Bean's. Go check them out. Tell them thanks.